Hello, YouTubers. It's Barbie J here. Welcome to my channel, June BLC. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Barbie J here with the recap and review of The Equalizer, Season 5, Episode 10. Dirty, Sexy Money. Ooh. And before we get started with this naughty episode, if you're new here or if you're returning here and have not subscribed to this channel as of yet, please take a moment right now and hit that subscribe button. That's right. Then I ask that you hit the notification bell and select all. It'll let you know every time I upload any new content to this channel. Then I ask that you hit that like button, which is the thumbs up button, write a comment and join the conversation, and share because sharing is caring. Now, of course, y'all know I just love The Equalizer. I love this show. You cannot go wrong. I don't think I ever saw a bad episode. I might have seen some scenes that didn't make sense in an episode or two, but besides that, this is such a well-made production. And I want y'all to keep watching it and get your friends and family to watch it because something in my spirit is telling me that CBS is trying to cancel them. You know, it took them a long time. There was some negotiations going on with a fifth season. Let's see if we could get a sixth season out of it, okay? And the other thing I liked about this episode, y'all, is that the kid in there who was the son of the people whose money got burned up and he was stealing their money, well, honey, he's my neighbor. He's my neighbor. He lives right across the street. And he has been on Broadway in The Lion King. He has done many a commercials. He's been in other shows. But I really like this kid. He's a good kid. Can't say the same thing about his mama, but that's another story for another day. Anyhow, this episode starts off with the security guard, and he's checking on a lump sum of money that's in a vault. And he gets a phone call from some female and he's talking to her and he closes the door and everything. He goes outside and she's flirting with him or whatever. And the next thing you know, he smells smoke. He runs back into the vault and there's a flame, big fire everywhere. And that money is all burnt up. So you know how the episode goes. Then the next thing you know, it's morning and we see Robin and Aunt Vi in the kitchen. Aunt Vi is going on a ride along with Captain Curtis and she's looking real good. And Robin lets her know. And then we find out Delilah is spending the weekend with her dad. She feels he's starting to miss her already before she even goes away to college. And so Robin is there and she said he's not the only one because she's going to miss her too. And so is Aunt Vi. So Robin's cell vibrates and she smiles when she sees it's Dante. And she grabs the phone and Dee and Aunt Vi look at each other and smile. And so Dante tells her he's interested in a little me and you time. And Robin says maybe later because she has a meeting. And Dee teases her mom when she comes back in the kitchen about how much her face lights up when Detective Marcus Dante calls. And then she's about to go on with some more. But the next thing, her phone rings and it's Cam. So she leaves and Aunt Vi is like, I didn't say nothing. And Robin's like, how did she know? Anyway, now we have Mel. Mel was at her therapist and she's not having any more panic attacks. And she's talking about her support system, but she never seems to mention her parents. So the therapist wants to know why she doesn't tell them about her post-traumatic stress in therapy. And Mel explains to her why. So the therapist thinks it's worth a try, Mel talking to her parents. And she asked her, what do you have to lose? So then Mel goes back to the Bat Cave and she tells Harry about it. And Harry is on board with the same thing. He feels the same way as the therapist. So Mel decides she will give it a try. Meanwhile, Robin is meeting with her clients who are telling her about this cash management service they're using called Guardian Cash Warehouse. And it's supposed to be the secure warehouse where you can keep your money, which is supposed to be a little safer than keeping it in a bank. But they told them that everything was insured, so they didn't worry about it. But when that fire happened and broke out, that was a problem. So their son, who I told y'all he's my neighbor in real life, he told them not to do it, but they didn't listen to him. And they said they lost their entire life savings in that fire. And if they don't get the money back by the end of the week, they're going to have to close their doors for good. And they are desperate for Robin's help. So Robin is saying she's not sure how she can help them, but she called Harry and she has Harry looking into the company. So Harry gives Robin all the information about the company. She asks him for an address and she said Dante will meet her there. So she and Dante get there and he said, when I asked for a little me and you time, he said this wasn't what he had in mind, but he'll take it. And I was like, I hear that. I hear that. But here's where I'm confused, y'all. And somebody put it down in the comment section if y'all know what happened. Okay, Dante got rid of his gig in California. But who is he working for now in New York? He's a federal agent, they said, but with whom? What agency? It's not the NYPD. Does anybody know? Please put it down in the comment section. Anywho, Robin and Dante, they go inside and they're like, there's no way an electrical fire did all of this damage. And when they look at the bills, they see these red letters that's stamped on them. And they're trying to piece it together, figure out what it says. And they realize that these bills are out of commission. So the security guard, he denies it because he said he stacked the bills himself. And Robin said, well, maybe somebody came in and switched them. And Dante said, and then they started the fire to cover it up so nobody would realize what they had done. And Robin definitely feels that this fire was a cover for a robbery. So Robin and Dante go to the Bat Cave, and Harry tells them where this out of commission money probably came from. And so they're saying, okay, but then how did they get into the vault to get the real money out? And Harry thinks it's through this maintenance tunnel that he found on a floor plan. So Robin asks Harry to get in touch with the owner, Luke Wentworth, and she asks Dante, do he want to ride along with her? And he said, you think I'm going to turn down some me and you top? I cracked up. I said, this is too much for me. It's cute. So now in the meantime, we see Mel. She goes to see her parents. And after a while, she's honest with them as to why she's there. And as she starts telling them everything about her post-traumatic stress and therapy, her father gets up and walks out without saying a word. So now we have Robin and Dante at that abandoned location that's attached to the tunnel, and they could tell that somebody else had been in there. So they find the entrance to the tunnel and a blonde strand of hair. So there's like, we're looking for a blonde. So Harry looks on the surveillance and he sees that there's a blonde woman named Molly who had been visiting the location frequently after hours. It seems that she's the security guard's girlfriend, and his name is Kurt. So when Robin and Dante talk to Molly, she tells them that she hooks up in the vault room on top of the money, and that's why strands of her blonde hair was found on the cash. So they're not really believing her, but then she tells them that if they're concerned about a robbery, they need to talk to the owner, Luke Wentworth, because Kurt told her that he uses the place like his personal piggy bank. So now we go over to Aunt Vi, who's on the ride along with Captain Curtis, who says it's bring a beautiful woman to work day. And she just starts smiling. But everything is going well. People know him. She's like, oh, you're like the mayor here or something like that. He said it's good that the people in the community know who you are type thing. So then all of a sudden he gets a call about a suspect with a white t-shirt, some jeans or something, backpack. So as they're driving, he pulls over a young man who fits the description, actually fits the description, and he steps to the guy. The guy doesn't want to listen to the officer, to Captain Curtis, and he's saying, I know my rights and all this stuff, all this back and forth. And the fact that Captain Curtis had to act like an officer, get tough or something with the guy, and then come to find out they apprehended the real suspect. So this guy wasn't the person and he was free to go. It shook Aunt Vi. She didn't like how he changed like that. And she got out of the car and said she has to go. She has to go. And she walked and left him. So now back to Robin and Dante. They found out that Wentworth made a slip reservation to the Cayman Islands, so they think he's running. So Harry gives Dante and Robin Wentworth's address in Tribeca, and they go to his house, and this man starts shooting at them because he thought they were his clients that are trying to kill him. So they tell him to come out, the federal agents and stuff. They get him, they cuff him, and Luke then tells them why he was shooting at them. He said there was another client he had with all this money. They own strip clubs and their money was in the vault as well. It was something like $8 million. And he told them he doesn't have any insurance because he let it lapse. He never thought he would get robbed. They were like, "You're an idiot," basically. And I said, they told him they'd have a nice holding cell for him because that's robbery, basically, if you ask me. So anyway, Harry looks into this strip club guy and finds out that he's attached with the Russian mob and that the strip clubs are a front for them to move dirty money. So now they realize that some of the money was in euros, so they'll need, whoever has the money will need to exchange it. So through Harry's freaky skills, we find that somebody exchanged 30,000 euros into dollars, and it was done by a kid named Jimmy Talbot, who's 25 years old and a junior engineer for the city of New York. So they go to his apartment. He's not there. Then they see that he went to CCNY, just like Nico, her client's son. And then they see that he's a gamer, just like Nico. So they're like, there might be a connection there. So when they ask Harry to dig into it, they find out that Nico and Jimmy had been gaming partners. So they're realizing they need to find Jimmy and Nico before these Russian mob guys do. But unfortunately, Nico and Jimmy get snatched up off the street by those Russian mob guys looking for their money. So now Robin and Dante inform Mr. and Mrs. Espinosa about their son, and they can't believe it. And Robin asks them to help find their son because they feel that he's in danger. And Robin sees a picture on the wall, and she asks Mr. Espinosa about it. So he tells her those are roosting gloves they have on because they have two pigeon coops on the top of his mother's building. So Robin asks, are they big enough to hold a large sum of money? Next thing you know, we see the roof. Nico and Jimmy are up there. Those Russian guys got them with the guns held to their heads. He's telling them to give him all his money. They're opening up the coops, putting all that money into the bags and stuff. And Robin and Dante get up there and they could see what's going on. And at one moment, Nico sees Robin, and the Russian guy turns around to see, and Robin had hid. And then when she peeped out again, he saw her. So he told her to come out or he was going to kill the boy. And she finally came out, and Dante came out. They took their guns. Next thing you know, somehow they got into a fight. Dante and Robin beat up these guys. Robin threw one of them off the roof, and they saved the day. And of course, Nico and Jimmy got arrested. So now back to Mel's parents' house. We see Mel in the car leaving a voicemail message to Harry about this was a bad idea. I knew I shouldn't have never did this. This is what my father just did, all this stuff. Next thing you know, her mother shows up with that cup of tea for her. And she gets in the car with Mel and they talking, and she gives her Melody some good advice on how to get through to her father. And that was to call him on his BS, which is what she says she usually does. So Melody goes in the house and confronts her father, and she does just what her mother told her to do. And as she's talking, her father gets emotional and he tells her what he went through when he was in the military and how he still bears the scars. So when she was talking about her PTS, it triggered him. So they both decided that they'll start talking about it. And I guess maybe her father end up in therapy as well to take care of it because he said the men in his family don't talk about these things. So Mel goes back to the bar, the Batcave, and she tells Harry about everything that happened. And he's just so glad that everything worked out. And she says she'll be visiting her parents more often and seeing them more. So that was great. Now back to Nico, who's being put in a police car, and his parents want to know why he did it. And he gave this lame excuse as to what he was trying to do, buy their freedom or something like that. But the good part is they're going to get their money back because they had it all up there in the pigeon coop. And they won't have to close the doors of their restaurant. So now we see Dante and Robin talking, and she's thanking him for saving her life up on that roof. And Dante said, don't mention it. It wouldn't be me and you time without some chaos. And she's like, you right about that. She said, how about we go out for a danger-free dinner? He said, lead the way. So, of course, the episode ends in Robin's household where she's talking to Aunt Vi, and Aunt Vi is telling her what happened at the traffic stop, and Robin's reminded her the things that, the decisions that police officers have to make at a split second, and Aunt Vi is saying she understands and all that. So Robin is like, but where are things going from here? Aunt Vi says she really doesn't know. She really feels bad for that kid, the way he just intimidated him, and oh boy. So as they're talking, Delilah comes in. She's back home. They're like, "What are you doing back home?" "Oh, I couldn't take it. All Dad wants to talk about is college, essays, scholarships, early decisions." She just couldn't take it anymore. She said, so Vi said, "Well, what excuse did you give him to come back?" She said, "Oh, I told him Mom was having a problem with her new boyfriend." And Robin was like, "No, you did not tell him that. No, you did not tell him." She said, "No, I'm only kidding, Mom, I'm only kidding. I told him I didn't feel well." She said, "I had to actually stop him from pulling out his medical bag. He was driving me crazy." So that's how it ended. They were laughing, and Robin said, "I should have told you, and been honest with you this morning when you mentioned it." She said, "So, yes, Dante and I are Instagram official if either one of us had an Instagram account." So Delilah said, "I'm very happy for you, Mom." And Robin said, "I hope to bring him over someday soon to meet you." And she's like, "I already met him. And I said, "Oh, yeah, what was that back in season 3 when he took her, I think, to the boxing ring or something like that? He took Delilah. Y'all remember? And she met some little boy there." Anyway, and Aunt Vi said, "Yes, bring him over and I will fix that man a meal he will never forget." And so then her phone rang and they both were looking at Robin. And Robin gets up and they said, "Did she just light up Delilah when she walked?" And she just walked away. And of course, it was Dante on the phone. Anyway, that's how it ended. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it. It's always a great episode if you ask me. Put it down in the comment section. Help a sister's channel grow by subscribing, liking, writing a comment, and sharing. It's your girl Barbie J saying, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.